Hi YouTube, welcome back to another reaction video. Back to my guilty pleasure, early UFC. This one's number 7, The Brawl in Buffalo, 1995. Might have said it before, but this is where it all started with me, with my set of interest in mixed martial arts. And down the track, ultimately I got myself a black belt, so I know a few things. Don't know all of it, but I know some of it. All right, first thing I'm going to do is just fix up my technology here so you can see my face. Always helps. This guy here, he's gone now, Jeff Blatnick. I think he was like a Olympic level wrestler and early UFC commentator. Just describing the ring here.
Shot to look up and see your opponent staring at you. Perhaps as first timers come into this, it is a situation where it's hard for them to stay relaxed and calm. Thus, experience becomes a tremendous, tremendous commodity. But it even affects some of our most experienced fighters. Canadian Harold Howard, one of our fighters here tonight, perhaps sums it up best. And I quote, "It's a great rush, eh? It makes your sphincter get real tight."
That was going. He set that up beautifully. He was telling a story, but I didn't expect it to end up there. That was fucking funny. All right, so setting the stage there. This, where I'm getting this from is some guys got it off of YouTube, and I think it's like somewhere in South America. So if we pop into some random Latin commentary, it's not me. All right, look, let's just go through the business of the rules. What do you got here?
The laws of the octagon.
Laws of the octagon.
No biting.
I can do this. No biting or eye gouging. Ref can restart the fight. 20-minute, 30-minute time limits. I think that's like they'll stand you up after 20 minutes on the ground, or, you know, depending on what your discipline is, to kind of even out, make it more equitable.
No eye gouging. Referee can restart the fight. 20 minutes and 30-minute time limits. 5-minute overtime in the finals and the super fight. Ways that you can win an event in the UFC: by knockout, by submission.
Now, we're going to go ahead here, right? Because this guy here, can tell, I know that that's Paul Valens, the polar bear. Yeah.
Man will come into this octagon tonight, and at the end, only
He's
one
ready.
shall emerge victorious.
Now, this guy here is Bruce Buffer's brother. His half-brother. And Buffer did this on one of those little vignettes on UFC Fight Pass, but they kind of half knew each other, and it's a stepbrother situation. I think they might have been out of touch for a while. Anyway, his brother said to him, "You should get into this commentary for this UFC," and eventually, Bruce Buffer became the voice of the UFC. Is it Michael Buffer? I think he does other events, maybe more boxing or something.
Plus, later this evening, the Russian Bear versus The Rock. In his first title defense, Super Fight champion Ken Shamrock takes on UFC 6 champion Oleg
Taktarov. That's later.
Tonight, there are no weight classes. There are no rounds. There are no timeouts.
No rules.
Assigned at the octagon, at the side of the octagon, our official physician is Dr. Richard Estrico.
Richard
and when
Kimball.
the action begins inside the octagon, the man in charge will be your official UFC
Trap
referee,
fighting versus karate.
John McCarthy.
Got the introductions happening.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Buffalo, New York, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing to my left, he's a black belt in Kyokushin Karate, 38 years of age, the oldest competitor in the UFC tonight. He's
Jerry Harris.
6 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 260 pounds. From Eureka, California,
Look at that stare. Look at that intensity.
Big Jerry Harris. And his opponent to my right, Returning to the octagon tonight, a black belt in the art of trap fighting.
Look at the size of this man.
25-year-old who stands in at 6 feet 8 also.
Jeez.
He weighs 300 pounds.
25, 6'8", 300 pounds. Ugh.
Fighting out of Sunnyvale, California, but he's originally from the icy north of Fairbanks, Alaska. He's known as the Polar Bear, presenting Paul Varelans.
6'8".
And here's a look at the tail of the tape. Harris, the oldest man of the competition.
No, see, they always fuck this up, right? So Harris is the karate guy on the left. Apparently he's 6'8" as well, and Varelans is 6'8".
Both men are extremely huge. 40-pound advantage to Varelans.
I'll tell you,
I love
the
these
one
errors.
thing about Varelans that you have to wonder, Cal Worsham, even though he lost to Varelans in UFC 6, hit Varelans a number of times in the head. And if Harris has got a lot more power...
Big John McCarthy looking about 10 years old.
Varelans' youth, I think, is also an advantage.
Well, the only trouble with Kyokushinkai is they don't punch to the face, so we'll have to wait and see.
Here we go.
Karate guy goes for the abdomen.
Across the octagon, grabbing Jerry Harris, leaning up against the octagon, throwing him down to the
Worst
cage,
possible outcome.
and beginning to punch at Jerry Harris's face. The door of the octagon swung open for a moment with the ferocity of that drop.
Varelans is in very good position here, and with absolutely no ground experience, Harris is in trouble.
Is he ever?
Varelans punching to the head.
Varelans wants to be smart, conserve energy here, find an easy weakness,
Knee to the head.
and then finish him.
Punching to the head. is
Looked like a deep
Varelans.
half then, but
Big mistake by Harris to turn over on his stomach, because that sets him up for a choke.
Oh, he's not even choking him. He's continuing. He's going to break his hand.
This guy's
He hits him
tough,
on the
but-
top of the head enough.
Varelans continues to pound away at the head of Jerry Harris.
I'll tell you what, Jeff. It
Karate
doesn't
guy's
look like
tough.
Varelans is really that experienced with the wrestling by what he's doing. I mean,
Not at all. Not at all. But Harris is
big
in a
and
lot of
strong.
trouble.
no.
that's gonna
Oh,
be
back of the
a-
head. Yeah, I'd tap out too.
Elbows to the head.
So a lot of illegal shit there now. Like you can't obviously do 12 to 6 elbow and then not do it to the back of the head. And you're getting it with bare knuckles there as well. So wise choice. But I have to credit that guy because he took about 20 before that from this monstrous man.
Head by Varelans. Referee John McCarthy got in there quickly. And the Polar Bear has emerged from hibernation. And he has won his first bout again. Paul Varelans, a minute and 7 seconds in. Tops Jerry Harris.
Well, that guy's tough.
And he might
Jerry
have
Harris.
the flu, Don, but one of the things he's got is tremendous tenacity, tremendous mental.
absolutely. He got in very quickly, and once it was on the ground, it was not Harris's game.
Said someone had the flu. That was a pretty phenomenal effort.
Right now, let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
The official particulars, we got all that. Okay, let's just go. Let's move it on here, right? Mark Hall, Harold Howard. Harold Howard was in the last review I did, and he lost to Jenner, the guy that won the UFC 3. But Harold Howard had like 2 or 3 bouts before that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ultimate
Ugh.
Fighting Championship
Michael
segment
Buffer.
continues. Once again, when the action begins here in the octagon, the referee in charge will be Big
Look at that jacket.
Joe McCarthy. Introducing first to my left, he has a 3rd degree black belt in the art of Muay Do.
Muay
A
Do.
black belt in Taekwondo and a black belt in American Karate with an amateur kickboxing.
See, this guy's got 3 black belts. I'm always sus on. I've got 1, and it took me 20 years. So if you can get 3, and I think I'm an okay, what would you call amateur black belt? I'm not like a professional black belt. But this guy's got 3 of them. Wow.
Boxing record of 5-0, 3 by knockout, 34 years old,
Jiu-jitsu.
6 feet tall, 190 pounds, from Murrieta,
He looks fit.
California, introducing Mark Hall.
Paul. Where's Rich Goins? What happened to him? Yeah, okay.
And
He does look like he can
octagon.
Fight.
A veteran of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, he holds a 5th degree black belt in the art of Katsutai Jitsu. A 3rd degree black
Harold Howard has shaven off his moustache and looks a lot younger.
belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Intensity.
A 3rd degree black belt in Goju Karate. And a 2nd degree black belt in Shito-Ryu Karate.
Shito-Ryu.
57 years old, 6 feet 2, 240 pounds. He's the pride of Niagara Falls, Canada, presenting...
He looks, he's been in a few hockey fights, this guy. Okay, let's see if they don't fuck the graphic up. 6'6", That's interesting. So he's giving away 50 pounds, apparently. 190 versus 240. So that's like 95 kilos versus 85. I don't know.
Pound weight advantage. The draw was done randomly at Boomer's Restaurant in
In Australia,
New York
do
City
kilos.
on Wednesday. We are set to go. Harold Howard, Mark Hall, Big John McCarthy, 3rd man in the octagon. When he says, let's get it on, we will.
Ready.
One thing about Hall, he says he's good at defense and he wants to use
Karate
motion.
stance on the
He's trying
right.
to get
Both of them
Howard
got the
to have to
karate
chase him.
stance.
Use movement to his advantage.
So they're not protecting their faces at all, really. Guy on the right is a bit.
You can see Howard wanting to set up that right hand right away.
Oh, body strikes.
Solid right hand by Harold Howard.
Hair pull.
Well, this is a position Howard is not
Hall pulled him onto
Howard's got a
full
good
mount.
choke here, too.
Hall rolls him.
Howard rolled to his back, but he's working on the choke.
What is that?
Couple good shots by Hall right there.
Hall lands again.
Okay, Hall's good.
Hand by Hall. Now a left.
Howard, you got to make distance. He's bleeding.
Really, Howard wants to hold him close, not let him raise up where he can start getting room to throw punches.
Like in modern jiu-jitsu now, as the early UFC, it was all about the guard. Now it's like put your heels on the hips, push them away, stand up again. They really don't like seeing you, unless you're expert at grabbing arms and doing triangles, just sitting on your back for 3 rounds is pretty boring to watch too. And it's not ideal. But kind of initially, people thought, oh, that's a shit idea. Then they didn't realize what the Gracies could do from there. But then it's kind of moved away from this again. But getting the person as close as you can, if you've got no other option, is better than having either far away or close as you can. But this middle distance where they can hit you in the face in the guard, no good. That's what Tito Ortiz would do, just beat people up while he was in their guard.
Right, he needs to lock in behind the head and keep him down, keep him close.
Go Harold.
Coming from the face of Harold Howard.
Watch the fingers.
Mark Hall on top, Howard on the bottom. He's got Howard's hair.
Big crowd.
Tactic. Howard came in with hair, and Hall's going to use it to keep his head down, try to get some room, get the leverage going, and then wail on punches. And really,
Howard's enjoying himself.
Hall going for the headbutt. Now Howard trying to come back with a choke, and he can't get it.
Is he smiling at him?
Howard's face is bloody. John McCarthy says to Hall to keep working.
What was that?
Howard's hit. Howard's tapped. Howard is tapped out.
Oh, that was a tap.
Hall wins.
Okay, he did a weird tap, like.
I believe it's a surprise. It took a minute 41.
I think his nose is broken.
Well, it was a surprise to me. I didn't
Yeah, this guy's a
expect
monster.
Hall to get on top of him like that. He had that kind of position as a wrestler. I didn't think he had the experience.
Well, anybody that saw a Howard tape knows he's got a big right hand, and he doesn't have a lot of ground experience. Hall used it to his advantage.
Donald, look at it.
He grabbed his
From the
throat. He tripped
takedown
him.
on, it looked like it was going to be Harold.
He
but
rolled
when
him,
he rolled
yeah.
over on him, it was all
And then the old saying, position over submission. So Howard should have just dropped his hips a little bit more there, settled that position. But instead, he just got rolled easily. And it could have been a different fight if he hadn't done that.
his way. That was it. The only thing I can say is Harold did keep his legs on the outside, but he didn't use it to his advantage. He didn't keep Hall's head close enough, which, like Jeff said, gave him room to punch.
Exactly.
Well, Mark Hall grew up.
That was
he had
one
a
of those,
speech
did it.
impediment. He started fighting when kids made fun of him. Became a bouncer, a wrestler in high school, played football and baseball. And 5-0 in amateur kickboxing. And Dragon, here's a look at the tap.
That's the weirdest tap I've ever seen.
Series of punches here and tap.
Crucifix tap.
Gentlemen, referee Big John McCarthy has to call a halt to the action.
Big John McCarthy.
The winner and advancing in the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7 from Murrieta, California, Mark Hall.
Look at that face. It's what's good about going about through these old UFCs is a lot of these, like that Harold Howard. He's got that one of those memorable faces. I don't really remember this guy. So it's an adventure. Continuing on. Okay. So now, Remco Pardell, I remember this judo dude with the slightly nasty edge to him. Ryan Parker, don't remember this guy.
Introducing to my left, 26 years old, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 265 pounds. Please welcome back to the octagon a veteran of the UFC from Oos in the Netherlands. He holds a second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu with black belts in judo and taekwondo. He's a 2-time junior Netherlands judo champion.
Wow.
2-time Dutch jiu-jitsu.
I have to give all the guys in this event so far 10 out of 10 for intensity points. He looks like my son when he's annoyed.
Champion. 2-time Danish Jiu-Jitsu champion.
The youngest one.
2-time German Jiu-Jitsu champion.
Look at that intensity. He's not even blinking.
Champion. He is the former Jiu-Jitsu champion of the world, Remco Pardue. And his opponent across the octagon.
Ring girls, hello.
25-year-old Kumite fighter. He holds
Kumite.
a third-degree black belt in the art of Okinawan karate. He stands
Karate.
in at 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 235 pounds.
Did he say he's 63 inches tall? I think he meant 6'3", right?
From Moorhead, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen, he is Ryan Parker.
I don't know. This is completely mismatched.
And here's a look at the numbers.
Karate.
26 years of age, Pardue.
Same.
25 for
Everything's-
Parker. Height about the same. Pardue.
Honestly, Pardo is, 30 pounds heavier. Like he's probably 5-10 kilos heavier. A little bit taller, a little bit older, and a whole lot more experienced. I really think Parker doesn't know what he's talking about here. He shouldn't really be there. It's going to be ugly.
With a 30-pound weight advantage. Second UFC for Pardue. First UFC for Ryan Parker.
If you got ground fighting versus stand-up, this is the whole deal.
Now, Parker himself said he may lack a little bit of conditioning, and being a first-timer, he lacks experience in the octagon. Obviously, Remco a little bit.
He's going to tie him up. Here comes the judo.
The distance. This is now Remco's kind of fight.
Well, you know,
Try
he
to pull
said
Parker down.
He said earlier on that he was going to use a secret tonight. Now let's see if we can figure out what it is.
And right now it is Ryan Parker backed up against the fence of the octagon. Both
going
fighters
flying.
wearing the gis. Nice move by Pardue.
Aragoshi.
Beautiful takedown.
That's just a straight headlock, but he's going to get that arm lock into place here. If he can get that thing.
Got him wrapped up. The pressure.
That's it. He's going to have to tap out.
At the head.
And he has no defense, no way to protect his face there.
He has not tapped out yet. It's a wide open target as Pardue just pops away.
Pardue's got him wrapped up. Look,
Hard to-
Pardue's grabbing. If you look here in the middle, we can do it with the highlighter. His right hand, he's got him a headlock, but he's also grabbing his own gi, and he's just, and plus there's so much downward hip pressure here as well. If you get a really, and what happens is that you bend your neck in as well, and that creates a bit of a head crank. So it's just a shit place to be. Plus you're open to strikes, and he's locked his head in because he's holding his gi pants as well. There's nothing good about this position.
hurt, but boy, I'll tell you what, those are some.
Not only that, okay, I didn't notice that too, and this is going to end in a second, but you got a straight arm lock. So if he gets this left leg, this is what I predict is going to happen. He's got this arm straight out. It's already right on the elbow, right, and kind of behind the elbow. So this is going to create a lot of leverage. Once he gets this left leg over the top of this wrist here and holds it straight, so he won't be able to move, and then you'll have an arm lock, and if he doesn't tap, it'll snap.
Great shots.
Now he's got his arm. If he locks
Oh,
that arm
he was onto it.
it will
Yeah.
be over.
Try to end it with a choke. A little over a minute in.
And the only option here, if you're skilled, is that if you did know ground fighting, you were able to be patient and get out of this, and your neck wasn't breaking, you weren't suffocating. If you do escape, you're on the guy's back.
Remco Pardoux in control.
Almost
Trying to
looks as
roll
though
him.
Parker's trying to fight off his back. I don't even know if he really has to. That's like a wrestling response.
Suffocating him.
All he needs to do is keep from being choked and prevent those hands from striking him. You can see Remco's knuckles are very red.
Pardoux taking full advantage of his 30-pound weight advantage.
He's let him off at the hook a bit here.
Remco's going to start looking for a submission here.
Yeah, looks like an Ezekiel maybe set up.
Remco
Yeah, he's going for an
continues to
Ezekiel.
work. Parker.
He's going to try to... This is going to be a slow choke. He's going to try to slow choke him.
If he gets the Ezekiel on, he's fucked.
Pardoux hoping to get the choke, looking to end it. Parker defenseless.
So your Ezekiel choke, especially, you can do it in no-gi. Some Russian guys are better, and I'm not very good at the Ezekiel. But basically, you're putting one hand behind the guy's neck and grabbing the material on your sleeve, and then you're doing the same, most simple form, and grabbing that sleeve and creating a lot of pressure in this space in the middle here. So you can catch people if they think they're in a dominant position. You grab the Ezekiel, which is he's on the top and he's applying the Ezekiel. You can do it from the bottom. You can also do it, as I said, in no-gi, but it's a lot slipperier, and you're doing a modified Ezekiel, which is putting your arm across and grabbing your own wrist and then sort of making a fist into their neck. All right, let's see what happens.
Right now on his back.
Hey, this guy's tough. He's doing all right.
He himself says he has absolutely no ground experience, and with Remco on top of him, this really is poor position for Parker.
It's terrible. You can see his strikes on him. He's just creating enough space so you can see the guy on the bottom. He's got his right hand. He's just creating enough space with that wrist. I think Pardoux could finish this with strikes now. The thing is, once you're posturing up and doing strikes, then your center of gravity shifts and the guy can bridge and roll you if they know what they're doing. But I think Pardoux's trying to save himself and not bust his hands up because he wants to fight later tonight.
Can get either a submission or get this slow choke to work.
Referee John McCarthy telling Pardoux to keep working. He wants Parker to keep working as well. And Parker punches.
He's trying to grab the belt at the
Remco hasn't tried to
back of the
reach
gi.
grab either Parker's gi or his own and try to choke him with it. That's how Gracie beat Remco when they met in an earlier UFC.
I reckon this guy's got some ground experience, but not much. Is he talking?
Pardoux has got 2 wins in the UFC over Alberto Leon and Orlando Beach.
Oh, here it comes. He's trying to get the arm under. Now he'll have an over-under lock here. He can start a choke. The lock on his own knee. Now
That's a tap.
That's it.
Pardoux did the job.
So basically, Pardoux, put one arm under the guy's head, and then he basically grabbed that opposite wrist. And then what you do is you use the blade of the wrist, and you put that across the person's throat, across here. It's like getting the blade of the wrist across the cartilage here. So it's not really an air or blood choke, it's a pain choke. And he tapped pretty quickly from it too. So would I.
It was slow, methodical, but effective.
You called it, Jim.
3:05, the official time.
That guy did good. He's tough.
Remco Pardoux from the very beginning.
This is the thing, right? This is kind of shits me a bit.
The choke finally.
Once he got his hand on his gi, because these fighters use that.
Let's go back.
3:05.
Look at the guy's belt, Parker's belt. This is a whole discussion in itself, right? Turn around. Look at his belt. This guy's 25 years old, and his belt, his black belt, it's turning white again because it's been... I know some guys, they get their belt and they'll wash it to age it so that people think that they're like some old fucking sensei, right? Whereas personally, I don't... my own weird theory is I don't let anyone wash my belt. My partner, she does occasionally by accident. But I don't want it to look aged. I don't mind if it looks fresh because it just ruins the belt if you wash it too much. But also, I don't have a deluded sense of self. And I like the fact that all the sweat and gunk is still in the belt. And if it stinks, you know, the rest of the gear's clean. Belts don't generally stink. But somehow there's the power of the sweat that sits in the belt if you don't wash it, right? Or you might sit it out in the sun and dry it, but you wouldn't do it every day. And you wouldn't hit it with the Omo and the cold power in the washing machine. It's just a bit of a tool thing to do to age your belt. And that's the most fucking aged belt I've ever seen in my life for a karate guy that's 25. Unless he's claiming he started when he was like 4.
Remco Pardew from the very beginning.
Whereas Remco's belt, look,
Dominating.
he was world champion and his belt looks nothing like that kid's belt. Remco's the real thing.
And just
Right.
getting the choke finally.
Once he got his hand on his gi, because these fighters use that gi for grip. Once he gripped his gi, he was able to initiate the choke. Now,
He's a beast.
we're starting right now from the takedown.
Oh,
Very good
okay,
hip.
so now here we go. He's going with the hip throw here. So it's one of my favorite ones. I don't usually do it because I'm not, like, I've mainly done jiu-jitsu and I really love judo and what bits of it I know. And I know about 2 or 3. I can do the Uchimata okay, but I do it from like an overhook. So I don't do the opposite lapel grab or the gi grab that he's doing here. But you can see when this foot goes in the middle, in Japanese, like Uchimata means to cut, basically. So you're cutting in between the leg and the outside, I think it's the Haragoshi. So he goes for the Uchimata.
Right here.
Okay, sorry. And he converts it to the Haragoshi with this outside grip. You can put the arm under, like an underhook. You can do it like inside and grabbing their lapel. There's heaps of ways, but what he's doing here is he's creating a bit of basic judo. You're getting the guy off balance. You're creating elevation. So he's lifting and twisting, and he's trapping this arm as well. And you want the other guy coming forward, so he's off balance, and then you're taking his base away. And when you do the Uchimata, when it goes between the legs, the person tends to go around you, unless you're high level, and they go over the top. And if this, when you hit this really nicely, which he doesn't hit it in a, because I think he usually start in an open area, but they're against the fence. But here he kind of does elevate, but sometimes you get massive elevation from the outside trip.
This is just basic judo. Rolls him over. He's on the top.
Bang.
Superior position.
It is basic judo here.
And another look
All right,
at
we know what it's all
effort
about. Let's
by
go to the.
Parker.
Let's go to one more.
Back, but he couldn't get any leverage or any
Oh, I
power
guess who's next?
on those punches.
Right, one of my favorite fighters coming up. It's the guy on the left, Marco Ruas, king of the streets. See, half these fighters, you always remember the ones who win and are consistent across the early UFC. Larry Curitin, don't really know him, but I can tell you Marco Ruas is king of the streets, tough as nails, still around there in Brazil, and he has a signature move called the foot stomp, which some fighters in modern UFC, it's legal, but a lot of people don't do it. So basically, if you're really serious and want to fight, I wouldn't call it dirty, but you really don't give a fuck, then you just use your heel of your foot on the top of your opponent's foot, and you can break their foot. We might see it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here at UFC 7, this is match number 4. Once again, your referee is Big John McCarthy.
Michael Buffer,
Introducing first, to my left,
the Wayne
he's
Newton
6
of
feet 1 inches
announcers.
tall and weighs in at 210 pounds. He's a 4-time Brazilian Muay Thai
And he looks like my French brother-in-law. He's Brazilian, but my brother-in-law looks a lot like this guy.
champion, state heavyweight boxing champion, and reigning Brazilian Vale Tudo champion.
Yeah.
Undefeated in bare knuckle.
I can tell you now, this guy here is no fucking joke. That is a street fighter. The Brazilian, and talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I think a lot of these old school guys would laugh at modern jiu-jitsu because a lot of people don't fight. They can't fight. They don't ever throw a punch, or they don't ever test their skills in terms of fighting, real fighting.
Knuckle matches from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the king of the streets, Marco
Ruas.
Ruas.
I would not like to fight this dude.
And his opponent across the octagon returning to the
It's gonna be a quick one.
KA North North American super heavyweight kickboxing champion with a professional record of 17-5, 15 by KO. He also holds a black belt in Shotokan Karate. He's 35 years old, 6 feet 2, weighs 200.
He's ready.
58 pounds, fighting out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Thunderfoot Cureton.
Says 0-1 in the octagon. He's the same professional record as me, 0-1. Yeah, I've had one fight, lost on points. But this guy looks tough. I think he's just gonna fucking fight regardless, even if he thinks he's on the back foot. I just sense a little bit of apprehension.
Here's a look at the tail of the tape. Ruas's age unknown.
No one knows how old Ruas is.
With a 38.
Okay, so yeah, Ruas has got, he's lighter. We don't know how old he is, but he's the king of the streets. And the other guy's just got kickboxing. Hope he knows what he's doing on the ground.
Pound disadvantage in weight, but folks, I would not blink here because
Fucking
this one could be quick if Ruas is as good as they say.
Are you ready? Let's get it on.
Well, this might be his debut for Ruas.
Not well versed at all on the ground.
This is going to be so quick.
Marcos Ruas goes for it. He's in a chokehold here.
Bang.
Oh, what a drop by Ruas. Cureton tries to roll.
The guy tried to DAS him.
Some power there by Ruas. But nothing yet. No submission, no lock.
Well, Cureton has no ground experience to speak of, and
Oh, it's going to be really quick. See how relaxed Marco Ruas is? This headlock's nothing to worry about. It's only if you're in the guard that you're in trouble. But often, if you're on side control and guys get your headlock, like the only thing you have to worry about here sometimes to catch people off guard, if you get this right, if you get your right, in this case, wrist, and just put it there under their hip. If they overcommit, Ruas wouldn't do it because he's an expert. But if you get some guys that overcommit their weight this way, too far over the body, then you have to bump them and you'll roll them, and then you'll be basically reverse this position.
Trying to elbow from the canvas.
Oh, no. Ruas is just staying balanced. Okay, this guy's strong.
Ruas might be even better from the ground. A big right from the kickboxer Larry Cureton.
we've seen fighters.
Yeah, and you do see that you get guys who are unskilled on the ground, but they're super strong. And so what you need to do in that case, don't get discouraged if someone does roll you like that. I've had plenty of white belts roll me over the years because they're crazy strong and they're just running on that crazy energy and they're panicking and they're just muscling your way out of things, not really using technique. And the only solution to that is you just ride it out, because after a couple of minutes, I remember years ago I rolled with some guys who were like Marines, US Marines, and they lasted a few minutes and then they gassed. And that's when you go in for the kill.
Before who actually comfortable in this lower position.
That's what's going to happen here. Head arm choke, one of my favorite chokes.
Rickson Gracie to a draw. That's what has been rumored. It was a
So this is a head arm choke here. It's one of my favorite chokes. Harley muscle guys, unless they're gassed out, it's a bit harder to get, but he might crack this.
draw. And certainly,
Grabbing the cage.
Gracie's, you've learned the guard.
Right, he's doing what he should be, keeping the
See how much pressure there is there?
close to him so he can't get up and strike.
This might even be close to some kind of a choke. Not really.
Big right hand.
Old school cage grabbing there.
If Cureton keeps hitting that spot, he can soften up Ruas.
This is a good place to have him. Pinched up against that fence.
And you can see Marco's wrist here it's not. I've been in this position many times, right? And the guy's crazy strong and he's just muscling out of it. And this wrist is almost, it's not completely under. It needs to be a bit further down so you really lock that wrist in, really lock it in. But if it's here, it's no good. You've got to have it here. But the problem is this guy's so strong, he's just being patient, waiting for the moment.
You'd rather have him head first into the fence and not sideways.
He's giving it up, yep.
This will work against Cureton.
He might try for it again, push it across the body. Just got to get it deeper.
Leverage to punch with.
So Ruas having to work from his back. And Larry Cureton coming out and using that big increase in weight, about 18 pounds from the last UFC, to his advantage.
Right, he's got a good position right here. I'm surprised.
Here we go. Now he switched to the armbar there. The other guy is strong and he's heavier. And now Marco switched to the armbar. This could be over. He was just being patient. He just waited to switch the hips.
Oh, submission on the arm attempt there.
No, he's crazy strong, this guy on top.
It seemed that Kieran had a guillotine choke going right away when Ruas picked him up and slammed him.
Ruas is just looking for opportunities here.
Hit the canvas with that punch.
He's got an open guard.
Smart enough to go right in with the headbutt behind it.
2 minutes in, and Kieran
So he's pushing the bicep. He's just waiting. Might throw up another triangle or something.
landing a right to the face, not much that time.
Don, what kind of combinations can you throw?
Got his foot on the hip,
Hand? Can you do hand?
creating a bit of space.
Elbow?
Well, I would say if you back up and you throw the hand, you can come in right behind it with a head. And that gives you a little momentum. There's the head.
Is that a headbutt?
Headbutt
Yeah.
by Kieran.
Kieran almost got rolled there.
Yep, Ruas almost rolled him off.
If he
that
gets rolled,
fence.
he's
Big John McCarthy employing the fighter.
yeah, because the guy is grabbing the fence.
There, he's got a little distance there for that right hand.
Kieran landing the right to the stomach again. Now this is a more physical.
Oh, leg lock, leg attack.
Look out!
He's looking for a leg
Creating
lock.
space.
That's gonna
He's got a bit of an X guard there.
go again.
So this is just setting up for a leg attack. The other guy's holding the fence wisely. If the modern rules were there, this wouldn't never happen. This is a double fence grab.
It's the knee. Oh, that was a straight kick to Kieran's face.
Kick.
Look at the size of Ruas's feet.
Those hands are huge, and so are the feet.
And that leg lock is not close.
He's got a lock on his knee.
It's not fully in there yet because Kieran.
See, Marco's getting that heel hook. Oh, this is over. Now, see this heel hook? Nice and deep. He's caught onto the... He's got a bite on the heel there. And the bicep, this could be over. This is all come back now with Gordon Ryan and Mikey Musumeci, Lachlan Giles. Fuck, who else is there? Nicky Ryan, Craig Jones, all those modern guys. This is the bread and butter now. This is Marco Ruas doing it back in 1995.
Gets Kieran down.
Do it. That's it.
Look out! Kieran
Tap, tap,
does
tap.
what he does.
Beautiful. He's fucked his leg.
A wonderful showing by Kieran. And Ruas has the win. 323.
There you go.
Wonderful hug.
Stand up fight.
I think Ruas walked away with a bit of respect for that guy because he didn't think he would last as long. But and Ruas, you know, there's no malice. He just did a walk away, and he knew it was going to come out that way. And he's probably thought a lot bloodier fights than that over the years. Didn't see the foot stop this time. Maybe we'll see it in the next round. So that's the end of part 1. Thanks for watching, and we'll come back with the UFC, the Brawl in Buffalo from 1995 soon.